Hello everybody and welcome to a very, very special stream here over on my personal stream. My name is Pastrytime, guys, and we are very honoured to bring you coverage of the CPL Korean Qualifier. It's going to be a best of 3 here between Najin Shield and, oh man, my brain's already frying. I'm just too excited. And CJ Entus, apologies everybody. CJ Entus on your right, Najin Shield on your left. Apologies, of course, you guys can't really see all the player names, but they are all definitely there picking and banning and ready to go for this one. And I'll be joined, as always, by the lovely PapaSmithy.
Our international explosion begins. It's going to be a very exciting match here with some well-known names to the more long-time solo queue players.
Yeah, absolutely. And oh man, I'm just too excited. We can see the bands coming out now. We are on the Diana patch, by the way, guys. Of course, the Koreans are just a little bit behind the North Americans in terms of patching. So we're going to have Vlad, Leeson, and Diana banned out, and Shen, Gragas, and Twisted Fate. We're done. Those are your bans for the draft. And I actually have to say, I think in the Asian meta in Korea, I think these bans make total sense to me.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm just having a bit of a struggle getting your stream going, so remind me what the bands are again so far.
Vladimir, Leeson, Diana, Shen, Gragas, and Twisted Fate.
Yeah, and we've been seeing a lot of, from what Scara was saying, a lot of Vladimir play and bans on the Korean server and Twisted Fate as well. So definitely some dominating champions there, both from global presence and team fights. So yeah, they all make sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Apologies there. I was just typing in the chat. And yeah, I mean, Malphite, of course, the first pickup here. I'm actually curious. Are you on the stream yet? Can you see the champ select screen yet or no? Yes?
Yes,
no, maybe?
you
can? Okay, fantastic. So, Malphite, of course, the first pickup there by Najin Shield, and then we have Carthus and Sona as the answer there on the other side for CJ Entus. I mean, Malphite, obviously, I guess, a notable, actually, two notable champions that weren't banned that we often do see banned, you know, in the I guess in the North American EU meta. But both Alistar is still available, and of course Malphite has already been picked is available as well. So I mean,
there's always going to be those slight variations in meta where champions like Alistar and Carthus will slip into the draft, and Malphite in this case, and that's just a case of, you know, priority play at the highest level in Korea being slightly different to the North American meta that I imagine most of our viewers are more used to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I don't think there's really much to say about the skill of these Korean teams. I mean, this is an all-Korean qualifier. I think maybe there was one... No, I believe it is all Korean teams that are competing in this qualifier. And, I mean, we've seen them play, you know, internationally. Of course, I think Azubu Blaze, kind of the famous quote-unquote Korean team at this point for their performance at MLG. But there's definitely a lot of talent here in Korea. You can really tell, even just on, you know, the Korean-only server, there's just so many good players. And absolutely, I mean, we see it as well in the Asian meta game every now and then. You know, down here from Australia, we do get to view the C meta every now and then, and it definitely can be a little bit different. So, I mean, I actually wanted to ask you, is Carthus a champion? Like, we just haven't seen him in a while. He was so powerful and so valued as a pick for a very long time, and he just kind of, I haven't seen him recently, but I guess, yeah, the Koreans have not forgotten just how good he is.
Yeah, look, he's fallen out. I mean, he hasn't fallen out. He's been banned a lot, and some people maybe are a bit more aware of his counters, but he's an AP hyper carry. He can really boss games. He can win games, mostly on his own if he just reaches that critical mass with the Rod Rages, Death Cap, Void Staff kind of build. So he has just that amazing upward potential. So, yeah, I mean, Carthus Sona, very strong first 2 picks there.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like I was disconnected from PvP chat as well. Again, trying to get ping to Sol is a little bit hard for my internet. I've checked the ping on like speed test. It's a little bit crazy, but hopefully it all stands out. I actually don't see any other picks, unfortunately, so I'm hoping that is not a bad thing, but we shall see. But right now, and there we are. Just as I say it, they're feeling with a couple more picks. So just to catch everybody up, we had Malphite picked Carthus Sona for CJ Entus, Najin Shield answered with Graves and Alistar, and then we have Olaf and Corky picked up there, and now 4th and 5th pick here coming out from Najin. We're going to have Rise and Tarek, and of course 5th pick now for CJ Entus. So where can I start? Graves, clearly a very strong champion. We've seen, I mean, it kind of depends what meta you're talking about, because obviously here in Australia we seem to get a lot more, say Ezreal for example, and obviously Corky's still a very prized champion here, as CJ picked it up, but I think Graves is a champion that we seem to just see a lot of in Korea. I mean, I think every time I turn on, you know, the OGN stream or something like that, I seem to just see Graves getting played in bottom lane all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there was an interview with Captain Jacka as Zabu, Blaze's AD carry not too long ago, asking about Graves, asking about that interest in Graves, and he just pointed out the fact that Graves has everything. He has burst damage, he has an amazing attack speed steroid, he has that W ability, that smoke screen that can just cause so much teamfight control. He has a little bit of everything. He has almost no downside. I mean, he has slightly shorter range than some other champions, but he's an amazingly strong pick, and that's one of the reasons why he's favoured there. And it's a good thing to point out to this both streamers that both Najin Shield on the left and CJ Entus on the right competed in the OGN tournament recently. So they're both teams that are, on the top tier of Korean LoL esports.
Yeah, absolutely, and as I said, the talent in this qualifier is pretty amazing. So we should see a pretty epic best of here between these two teams. Looks like Mundo was actually the last pick, which is very interesting because of course they did have the option of jungling as Olaf at that point, but it looks like they might be running Mundo instead in the jungle. Do you like? I mean, last pick jungler. How many times in draft can you count that happening in a tournament?
Minimal. Maybe that was just a case of toying with the idea of Olaf jungle and just wanting to keep their options up in the top lane, and they decided that Olaf was a favourable matchup here against Malphite. And as we wait for the time to tick down, I think we're definitely in shape here for a great game.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course my fingers are crossed. I'm assuming everything will be okay. We do have delay time. Actually, 3 minutes and 30 seconds of delay time. We have extra time here, which is, I guess, a little bit different from the 3 minutes, but hey, we'll run it. And these are your team comps, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Graves, Taric, Alistar in the jungle, Ryze, and Malphite there for Najin Shield. And on your right, your purple team for this draft, CJ Entus are running Corki Sona, Jungle Dr. Mundo, Karthus, and Olaf. So I guess, Smithy, with the draft done, who do you think has the advantage here on picks early on?
I mean, it's always hard to say. I think both teams have picked very strong lineups. The one thing that I pick up, early here is that the initiation on the CG Entus side is a little bit lacking. I mean, the best way to initiate is probably a flash Sona ult or just a really, really good opportunistic Karthus wall, whereas Najin Shield a bit more traditional initiate in the form of Malphite and the potential for the headbutt pulverize of Alistar. So team fight-wise, maybe they have the edge, but I mean, the Karthus pressure, the amount of global pressure Karthus puts on the map, and I mean, bot lane should be interesting. I mean, Taric Graves, both in Australia, Korea, and world over, is known as a very strong lane, but Corki Sona, something we're seeing more and more of now that we see Sona get just that bit more play in competitive scene.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think Sona's a champion we're going to see a lot of at IEM, of course. This is part of the reason we're doing this qualifier. Big shout out to the ESL Asia admins and, of course, the regular, your European ESL TV guys as well. But we are filling in for Joe and But I love you. So it's definitely awesome. I mean, it's as nice as it is for them to be doing IEM. Pretty excited to be doing this one. And yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a ton of Sona coming up. And I think it was even, I think Ghosty Pepper from M5, who you mentioned, pretty much just thinks that Sona's incredible right now.
Yeah, look, she provides amazing team fight utility with both the CC and the auras. And then in lane, if she's left to her own devices, the poke and the healing is just amazing. I mean, there are a lot of that's been some maps done that says that she can do more healing than Soraka, who's kind of the designated healer in League of Legends. But the one thing you have to realize is that if she eats a Taric stun here and Graves can get in close, she can drop really, really fast in that lane with a combination of Graves' ability and the ignite there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing about Sona. You have to be careful. I mean, you kind of have to be careful with Soraka as well, so similar thing there. I think you had made a great point about the initiation on the Najin... Sorry, apologies. On the Najin Shield side. And, there's obviously a great bit of initiation with the Malphite ultimate there, the Unstoppable Force. A lot of action potentially with Jungle Alistar, of course, is actually going to be a little bit tankier than regular support Alistar. Alistar, of course, with that ultimate, very, very tanky, but he's just going to be a little bit more, going to have a few more items and able to tank a bit more damage. So definitely on there for initiation as well. And I think it's really important to note that the follow-up for Najin is really, really good as well. They have both the Taric Dazzle and, of course, the Ryze Rune Prison as well to follow up. So if they catch somebody, or catch someone important, like even just killing a support maybe quickly, or someone like Corki, of course, he's actually quite hard to catch and doesn't have cleanse, by the way. So he's potentially a bit of more of a softer target this time around. But there's definitely the potential to just catch someone out and instantly start a team fight on your own terms, with a potential 4v5 or 3v5 advantage. So I think there's a lot of damage between Mundo, Olaf, and Karthus and Corki as well, and you can kind of set it up with Sona there for CJ, but I'm a little bit worried just about how their team goes in terms of team fight. But of course, we've still got, what, 10 to 15 minutes worth of laning phase as well. So I think it's going to be a pretty awesome first game here.
And here we load into the game. And just the one thing I noticed when I was having a cursory look at runes is that Malphite is running a very aggressive page. He's got 15 magic pen from level 1, which is not something you see that often.
Yeah. Oh, 15 magic pen at level 1 from Malphite. Wow, that is a fairly aggressive page.
And so he's just going to want to harass down Olaf before he gets levels in his true damage or his X's, whichever one he elects to go with. I imagine true damage against the armor stacking potential of Olaf. Of Malphite, sorry.
Yeah, and we are loaded into the game now as well. That was actually pretty quick, so it looks like the client is pretty happy. Just give me a quick second, guys, to fix this setting. Apologies. And I have to fix a video setting as well, because I can see that everybody right now is getting nothing but blurry stream. Or I should say flashing stream. But don't worry, the sieges have stopped, and do not adjust your screen. This is absolutely awesome here, guys. We're going to be going into Game 1 here of the CPL Korean Qualifier. It's going to be Najin, your blue team, up against CJ Entus, your purple team, and oh my goodness, the announcer's voice is loud. Actually, I'm going to have to turn that down as well, but I think there might be level 1 action, and I don't want to adjust anything if someone's going to die. Carth's checking the bushes as well with his low waist. We can see lots of pinging back and forth, very aggressive here from Najin here early on at level 1, and a great moves here as well by Embu, really just checking all the brushes as best he can. I don't know if he's actually found them yet, but he's definitely doing his best to make sure they don't get caught out here. And just a quick second, everybody, I really have to fix this sound. It is rather loud. Oh man.
And the one thing to point out for viewers, just for their information, is that this is Nanjin's shield here. After the first OGN, Najin split into 2 organizations, with the other one being led by none other than the famous Macnoon, which is definitely a name that's on the lips of a lot of American players. And this one, still a very strong organization with the likes of Makuza in the jungle and Vinyl Cat in support, both very well-known players. So I think we can really expect some really top-quality League of Legends here. But at the moment, it kind of remains to see what Nanjin Shield wants to do level 1 here. They're still all grouped as 5, but I think they might be going for the late invade, but they will not find too much on the CJ Entus side.
They might find a blue buff, which is not too bad. You can see Pulver has leveled up already for Alistar there as well, and now they are going to be rushing here towards the blue buff. I mean, we've seen this more and more now. It's becoming a little bit more popular, these late style invades. And I think it's actually awesome to see just how this is changing, because it's so effective. You often catch people, you know, 1 or 2, even 3 people sometimes. And you know, worst comes to worst, you're going to get this blue buff. Looks like we are going to have a bit of a scuffle as well. Extra wave on that Corki coming up, but just kind of notices that it's gone and can't really do anything but cry for his teammates. There's Smite getting used by Ali as well, and he will pick up that blue buff. So a nice early lead there for Najin.
Yeah, look, it's always advantageous to pick up a buff here, and if he can secure his own, he will have just that much more XP than Insec.
And he's actually running that way too right now. So he has actually leveled Headbutt. He did get level 2 by walking through mid lane, something that we did see a couple of junglers used to do back in the old days. And speaking of junglers, we do have Insec here on CJ. He is camping up now as Dr. Mundo. Level 2 for him as well. Cleaver and Burning Agony both up. Malphite could be in a ton of trouble. Great undertow there by Long Panda. And the flash out immediately from Malphite just to get out of the way. And Cleaver to the face as well, just to be like, fine, I didn't kill you, but you can have this. Press it. Bam! Right in the kisser. For Malphite
and with
there.
The potential of permaslow there, he just could not afford to get hit by a cleaver, and a good flash coming out there by Malphite.
And looks like we actually might have Rise trying to get blue here. Alistar has started his other blue already. He did do Wolves as well, I believe, and we could see a very early blue donut here from Rise. So this is a very aggressive move, I feel, here from Najin, and it is going to be Rise. He picks it up, gets a bit of extra experience as well, and actually dings level 3 a little bit before Carthus. Actually, quite a bit before Carthus, if these XP bars are correct. That's pretty insane.
And it's worth pointing out here, there's been a lot of talk about Rise in the competitive scene, as he's kind of seen peaks and troughs in play recently. And the one thing that is really the common thread among pros, as we see a lot of damage coming down bottom, but just poke damage, is that if Rise ever falls behind in lane, if he gets behind in kills or excessively in CS, he never really recovers. So donating this blue, ensuring that he doesn't really have any problems returning back push or any mana issues whatsoever in these early levels is kind of a masterstroke by Nanjin Shield, and all facilitated by that aggressive level 1 play.
Yeah, and now Sona getting stunned up, but there's a great flash away from Tarek, realizing Mundo is coming in. Valkyrie pops up as well, flash, Cleaver right to attack, and we could see first blood. Burning Agony going up, there's Ignite taking down, and Mundo will pick it up there. Just fantastic gank setup there by CJ.
And the awesome potential of the flash Mundo, you can just never expect that taken as a summoner spell on a Mundo, and you know, your eyes might deceive you during champ select, and you won't notice that he just has that potential to flash into a 40% slow. Yeah,
I mean, and he set it up perfectly, and you're right, without that flash, I mean, if you had exhaust, it might have been about the same, but definitely ensuring that kind of surprise factor there with the flash, very, very strong. As you see, Malphite actually back off early as well, going for, looks like an early Philosopher's Stone here. He's picked up his Regrowth Pendant, gets a Mana Potion here as well, and he's actually been harassing pretty hard down into Olaf, pushing up that turret as well. So yeah, definitely really looking strong there in the top lane right now. We can see the CS actually 19 to 23, so not maybe going as well as he wants it to, but it looks like Malphite has a bit of an early lead here up in the top lane. And in mid now as well, we can see 30 CS there for Ryze to 27, so lots of Ryze coming down here, but we are going to have Mundo coming in as Insect, looks for yet more cleavers to the back, and Ryze is going to have to be careful here. He's going to get that Bill of Rights cleave it all over, and yeah, I think a beautiful bait there from Mboob actually on Karthus, but I think Ryze reads it nicely and runs around. He's actually got Ghost as well, so he's pretty happy there. Rune Prism procs off, Mundo actually burning, Agony takes that CC off very quickly. I think we are going to see a flash out from Ryze, and yes, Alistar coming in to support as well.
And Ryze was just playing a bit too cute there, trying to bait out some damage onto the jungler, and Mundo hit one cleaver, and there goes the flash.
Yep, just a quick thing as well, guys. If you are having problems with the stream, just try refreshing. From my side, it looks absolutely fine. Haven't dropped a frame yet, which is always good news. So yeah, maybe just try refresh if you guys aren't sure. But right, Ryze manages to get out there. Oh, and we are going to have a pause.
And yeah, it just shows that if you play a bit too cute, if you try and get some damage in there, do some poke, you can pay for it with a summoner spell, and to lose a flash in such a kind of careless way may come back to haunt the Ryze.
Yeah, I mean, we could see Mundo just wrap around again now and just try it again, so we shall see. I mean, actually, I think the chat seemed to actually have pointed this out, but there's some interesting summoner spells in this game in general. Obviously, we already mentioned the flash on Mundo, but just at this point, there's no ignites in mid, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't even notice. Just too excited about the draft, I guess. But we do have...
I mean, it makes sense on Karthus. I mean, Ignite on Karthus is usually overkill. I mean, Ignite's kind of a finisher spell, and Karthus has the ultimate finisher in his ultimate, but I mean, they've just gone from ability Ryze build here. I believe he's running utility masteries and has that cooldown reduction. The flash is only on 213 seconds, so this will just make sure that he can't be kited, and he's escapable. And you know, there are worse things to take on a Ryze.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was actually going to talk how you feel about how Alistar's maneuver. Here's the boots 5 in, the Dazzler comes out as well. Great smoke screen to block off the sonar, and there's a free flash. Now Ali wants to come in. Beautiful flash into the headbutt, pulverized right into the wall, and that's going to be an easy cleanup there as 1-1. The junglers in bottom lane even up the score, and poor supports, they're just getting killed left, right, and center.
And that's one thing you can do there. I mean, rushing that boots 5 created that gank. If we had a filler there, that just would not have been the same sort of lane pressure and presence from the Alistar. So, lovely play.
Yeah, and I think this boots 5 that we've been seeing just a little bit more of, as we've seen Mundo as well. It's counter-jungling a little bit, just taking those wolves away. So very confident play there from Mundo. Sees Ali in mid now as well. Knows that's completely safe for him to do as he recalls. But I would say that this early boots 5 rush before any GP10 on a lot of these gank-heavy kind of support-style junglers is quintessentially Korean, and I will give them that, because they have just shown, like Azubu players obviously at MLG, I think they just showed the world the kind of power that Boots 5 Rush has, and I think we saw it there on Ali as well.
And I mean, what I think it suggests is that that is the sign of an experienced jungler who has an aggressive playstyle. If you know your limits, if you know that you're always going to be looking for ganks, and you can be confident of your lane's ability to say, no, there's no lane wards down bottom here, come straight through, then Boots 5 is a magnificent purchase. But if you don't get any ganks off, and you're behind a GP10 or 2 as a champion like Alistar, who has problems farming his jungle at the best of times, it can be, you know, it can be one risk too far. So it's a situational decision, but the situation led to a kill, so wonderful play.
And speaking of situational decisions, that was pretty much the perfect segue. Mundo now has an Oracle's Elixir. He went boots 1, a couple of wards, got a Heart of Gold early on as well, and now it's gone straight into the Oracles. And I guess this is what a classic snooper from CLGAU, I think, is where we'd initially go, but just a very aggressive style of jungling where you really look to take control of the map as hard as you can, as early as you can.
It's snowball jungling. If you didn't get that early kill, this Oracles will probably be 2 to 3 minutes later, but the ability to get that early kill, get that experience, you know, have that ultimate to sustain through the jungle, just means to him that Oracles is the right time for Oracles, and he'll be able to provide that much more lane presence with the Oracles. So wonderful pickup. Yeah,
and great timing here as well. Ryze going to be able to pick up this blue buff. So Alistar donating this early blue doesn't seem to have really hurt Ryze all that much in the mid, in terms of like, not having blue, and Karthus doesn't have it. And in fact, this timing works out quite well. I think there's about 30 seconds to a minute window where Karthus is going to have it before Ryze. But I mean, it looks like I always question the level 1 donate, you know, the level 2 donate in this case. It just always seems a little bit risky because you really want that experience, but I think after getting the initial steal, it seems to work beautifully here for Ryze, who already has himself a Tear of the Goddess, and now building towards a presumed Catalyst the Protector as well with this Ruby Crystal, and he's pretty happy here against Karthus. I mean, he's a bit behind on CS, because Karthus is just kind of a farm machine, but other than that, I think the early play here to make sure Ryze gets through that early game, and gets to that mid game where he's really strong, and just can start outlaning his opponents, I think it's a really smart move here from Najin.
And the presence of the pseudo kill lane in Turret Graves and the jungle pressure from Alistair's allowed Soul to open up an early lead here as he's 66 CS to Corky's 47 down bottom.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just a product of the aggression that this lane is able to provide. And speaking of aggression, we are going to have Alistair down here as well. Pinkwood actually thrown in there by Tarek. To me, that's a very big giveaway that someone is trying to gank you, but we'll see. We'll see if CJ
all
can
we
figure
know
it
is
out.
he hasn't been sighted by a ward entering, but you're right, it kind of is indicative that something evil is afoot.
That phosphorus bomb, by the way, was so close to catching Alistair. In fact, there are pink wards in both these brushes here as well, but we are going to have 3v3 action as Insect comes in as well. Has the Oracles able to clear out this ward, and they know what's up. Yeah, obviously the ward there will see Mundo. Alistair still hanging back, really wants to commit to this one, and I mean, the wave's pushing in now. I think we're going to see blood pretty quickly. Level 6 dings now as well for Alistair.
6, which might be significant here.
Could be, and they know Mundo's in there, so they know they have to force a 3v3 if they want to do anything. We could start with Tarek face checking the brush. I think they might go for Sona again if they can get to her, but I believe Sona, oh, she's not 6 yet. That's very, very important in this situation, and I think CJ smell her out. They're going to back off.
And Alistair's been camped down bottom for about 90 seconds already and doesn't look like he's any rush to leave, and it's one of those things. I mean, some people, they look at a lane, they think it's not gankable, they move away straight away.
And he's still here.
This Alistair is just biding his time.
He's still here. Mundo's going to come in a mid, but I think it's just going to be a little bit of pressure. Great Wall of Pain, actually, and the damage there will come out onto Rise. But this is so tense down in bottom lane. Alright, Kevin top, they're trading back and forth. Oh, he does go in! Beautiful play there! And Sona in a ton of trouble. Just mentioned to catch it. I think Tarek wants to go after Corky as well. Oh, you've got to be kidding me! No, it still gets in there. And I think there's some wasted summoner spells. And speaking of that, Tarek throws out the exhaust as well. Sona used Flash and her exhaust in that situation, though.
And yeah, I mean, she used both of those when she was ticking about 100 health. And while it was almost a very cute escape because of the exhaust damage reduction on what would have been the killing blow from Graves, I think at some point you have to calculate and work out that, 90 times out of 100, you're probably not going to get away there.
And I think chat are curious as to exactly where we are from. If you guys are curious, we are Australian. So if you guys are wondering, maybe we sound a little bit different to your normal casters. Of course, we don't say anything like Joe and Bopper, but Illy, even though I guess we are filling in for them this evening. But yes, we are from Australia. Hello, welcome to our international guest. It's absolutely lovely to have you aboard.
Always a pleasure. And up top, we see that Olaf snowballing a little bit out of control here. 29 CS at the 11 minutes is quite significant, and as Malphite does go to pick up another GP10. I think Olaf naturally wins this lane, as it's hard to itemize against his true damage without going for some health, but yeah, it might be a bit of a worrying sign for Najin Shield.
Yeah, and actually, I just realized Stream might have been asking about the nationalities of the teams playing. These are 2 Korean teams. Playing for 2 of the Western organizations as well. And it looks like Mundo coming down the bottom lane. Tarek gets cleared into the face, flash away, Burning Agony, Requiem now coming in as well. And Tarek very, very low. Actually activates his ultimate there. And Ali comes in, maybe looking for somebody. Finds Mundo actually there with a headbutt. And Graves will get away safely, but still a kill there. And 2-2 now the kill score. As bottom lane is just the story right now. There's just so many kills happening. But I think Mundo might be able to turn this into an early dragon. But for whatever reason, I don't think CJ want to commit. I think they probably should. Mundo's great at tanking these big buffs like Dragon and Baron. And they definitely have the ability here. Looks like Mundo's going to clear out a few more wards. I don't know the red buff timing. Maybe he's looking for that instead. But I definitely expect a Dragon to be forced fairly quickly. But it might be too late here by CJ if they do attempt it. And no, Mundo's actually just checking around. I mean, you were a jungler, Smithy. In that situation, would you make the call for your team to try and do Dragon?
I think a Dragon that early, it really requires the jungler to be strong. And Mundo, I think he didn't have his ultimate up, and tanking Dragon for that long, with the lanes being escaped and it being fairly obvious that's what you're doing, with the amount of damage that Corky was outputting there, which would have been relatively low, it's a risk. And oh dear, unfortunately here, Mundo has last hit the blue buff just by accident. He probably had his Burning Agony on for 1 second too long, and now Karthus has to go without blue for 5 minutes.
And of course, Rise is going to be picking this up very, very shortly as well, as Alstar returns to the jungle. Philosopher's Stone up for him as well, by the way, and the Kindle Gen up on Mundo as well. So I'd say Mundo actually a little bit ahead here in terms of jungling. You can see it in the creep score as well, 64-36. I mean, we definitely out CS Alistar in the jungle, because I mean he's
been keeping up in ganks as well. I mean both junglers 1-0-1 at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And looks like we may see a solo. Nope, Insect just chilling, wanting to, again, keep as much ward coverage as he can. And now bottom lane definitely have to be scared. They do have a ward actually hanging out here, and a pink ward as well, but Mundo's going to happily collect that one. And I think, yeah, I mean, Mundo can definitely tower dive at this point. It would be a little bit risky, and it could be awkward to execute, especially with only Sona's ultimate really as your only CC. Oh, and Oracle's now up for Alistar as well, so just so much aggression between these two teams. And to me, it's honestly miraculous that we've only had 4 kills.
I know, we see that Alistar here has gotten oracles of his own, so the map is going to be largely bereft of wards if either of these junglers have their way. Yeah,
and looks like bottom lane again, just the focus of these two teams. And it's funny to me just how much mid and top lane have had to free farm, and all the champions kind of in those lanes. Oh, Alistar's coming in as well. Extra wave could be in a ton of trouble. Corki there, the pulverize comes up. Mundo coming in as well. Soul getting very low, gets exploded actually like Corki there, and now the exhaust comes out. They're going to try and pick up one more kill. Tack, I think, does get it. No, but there's one more going down as well, and Mundo picks up, I think, at least 1 kill for himself, possibly another as well. And Alistar, the only one left alive, but Rise roaming down now as well. Sona in a ton of trouble, getting chunked down there by Rise, and I think we might see a lost Oracle here. There's Mundo going down, and if Ali can get out as he flashes out as well, the Defile coming off as well by Embu. Alistar's just trying to run as fast as he can. Rise doing a lot of damage as well. I think it might be even more kills now for him. He's coming in there, flashes out of Defile as well, but I don't know if Requiem is available. No, it's not. It's actually just coming off cooldown.
1 second off cooldown, wow. I think Rise would still have survived as he was smart enough to pop a health potion there, and he was sitting around 400 health, but still would have been just a really frustrating thing for Ember to be so close to be able to use his ultimate there.
Yeah, and Alistar, he tried his best to get out there as well. You could see it. He's like, I need this Oracles. Manages to get a great kill there on Mundo, and just tries to get out by flashing, but it was not enough. Cast damage more than enough there, and it's actually even. I was going to say who came out even in that trade, but I guess with the kill score still set at 5-5, with only about 1,300 gold the difference here, I think we can safely say that I think it was 3 for 3.
And reflecting on the situation, what happened there was Alistar came in with CC, was very confident, but did not realize that with Mundo in the jungle there, Mundo ran straight at Graves, hit a Q on him, didn't exhaust him because he doesn't have exhaust, but took out Graves almost instantly. Graves had very little influence in that fight, and it was only the fact that Rise roamed so well that they managed to close it up. But here we have another engagement.
Yep, Dragon coming in as well. They're actually going to peel off Mundo, but a great flash over the ridge. Tarek now getting bursted down. They need to get into Corki, but everyone's kind of split up right now. Tarek Graves going to come back in. Ali reinitiates there. Rise on a killing spree now, picks up a kill on a Corki, but he's going to get shot down there by Olaf, who's coming in as well. Tarek flashes out. Soul solo with the light waste getting landed there. The Undertow picks up the last hit, and Malphite just not here for this team fight. And we are going to see CJ pick up a Dragon here, and Requiem even coming out as well, I think, to pick up a stray kill. Alistar and Tarek ridiculously low, in fact, and Ali, I think, even popped his ulti to escape the Carthus ult. But oh no, Malphite's going to get caught out as well. Flash over the back, red buff Olaf, definitely enough to chase him down. But I think the first discernible advantage here in this game is going to go to CJ Entus, and that was a fantastic team fight.
And it was interesting to see Malphite did not elect to teleport in there. There were wards in the area, but his ultimate was down, and I guess his team or he made the call that teleporting in just wouldn't have made the difference in that fight.
Yeah, and we have seen an interesting deviation now for the junglers. Alistar has gone ahead and rebought his Oracle's Elixir, but Mundo instead, he's like, you know, I need to continue my build here. He's actually bought himself a Giant's Belt, now sitting on well over 2k health, and pretty tanky right now. I mean, there's a lot of health stacking usually going on Mundo's. It's pretty popular, and I think this is going to be a real big difference here, because Alistar, to me, just feels a little bit behind. I mean, he doesn't have a...
Corki take a lot of damage here from the Tarek Graves combo.
Yeah, extra waves in a lot of trouble.
But definitely got dangerously low.
Sona had Crescendo up in there as well, comes in for the heals and manages to just give Corki a little bit of breathing room. And we are going to see the Trinity Force coming up here as well on Corki. As you look over at Graves, going a little bit more standard. Berserker Greaves, double Doran's Blade, BF Sword, and of course Vamp Scepter all in play for him. So a little bit more normal. Expect something like a Bloodthirster or an Infinity Edge to come out from Graves fairly early on here. But I think, no, Extra Waves does not have enough for Trinity Force. They're not going to go back yet. But what do you think of this? I mean, I think I've seen the Europeans do it a little bit more often on their Corkis, and just Trinity Force versus something that we don't see a whole lot of. We see Phage first into IE or Bloodthirster, but not usually the whole Trinity Force.
I think that's the build KX has been taking a lot recently, is just rushing that Triforce, and it definitely has its advantages. I mean, it makes you pretty much the ultimate poke champion on Corki with the really low cooldown on the rockets, and it's deceptively useful. I mean, the move speed, the health, the slow, all the varied stats it gives can all win you, an engagement. Now, in a long, drawn-out right-click war between two AD carries, is it optimal? Not usually, but in a team fight it can be amazing.
Going pretty aggressive for this tower here. Mundo activates his ultimate actually to just get the move speed bonus. Tries to cleaver a few people down, but it's going to be mostly wasted, I feel. Rise coming around as well. Carr's actually already roamed down. And Rise actually looking pretty scary. Has this Rod of Ages finished up now as well. CSing very nicely, even though Karthus as well, just farming like an absolute madman. Bottom turret will go down. There's some nice pressure from Najin. They'll be able to pick that up. And I think they're looking for the blue buff here as well. Oh, but does get taken there by Karthus this time. And he's going to be very, very happy to have picked that one up.
Yeah, and just no respite in this game. It's just been so much aggression, especially bottom, which is not something I'm used to as a person on the American servers. Usually bottom is left as an island because of the warding that will be done by the supports, but both jungles beelining for bottom at every opportunity.
I mean, you're right about the ward coverage, but I think a lot of it has to do with just how many early oracles we've seen this game. We've got 3 already, you know, in the sub 20-minute mark, and they've just been constantly clearing out bot lane of wards and pressuring it. We've seen a lot of brush ganks as well by Alistar in particular, but you're absolutely right. We've seen very little concentration in terms of ganks on top or mid, and do you think that really plays in? Oh man, an extra wave picks up a kill on Soul, and everybody has to drink.
That was kind of one of the advantages of Trinity Force there. He got a phase proc, and Graves wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we've talked a lot about how strong Phage is on AD carries. I mean, bottom's a fairly long lane. Basically, you get caught once and you're a little bit too far, and the Phage proc happens, you're probably going to die. And I think Corki really showing off the power of Phage, and of course the rest of the Trinity as well, which is a fairly good amount of early damage as well, which maybe Graves wasn't expecting. But I mean, I think in this situation it feels like CJ's team is a little bit better in terms of, you know, if top and mid are gonna have, you know, just gonna play Farmville. I think they're pretty happy given that Olaf seems to have won his lane pretty happily here with 166 to 136 CS, and now top tower going down as well. And of course Karthus, he just loves to free farm. I mean, he's fairly happy right now, sitting on a ton of CS, actually well over 200. Looks like Insect in a lot of trouble. Could lose his oracles here, and that's could be very, very bad news. I think Alistar going to find him. Great Wall of Pain. It's actually going to be enough. And Karthus, how did he find that play? No, Rise catches him again. It's not going to be enough. There goes the essence. Oh, the bouncy ball. The essence fox. It's essence something. Exhaust coming out as well. Beautiful play there from Ali to save his AP mid. Ults out of it as well. Olaf with the true damage though. Rips apart Alistar. And Long Panda going very aggressive, but can't quite find it in him to tower dive. Now fight here as well. There's Unstoppable Force. And Mboob's thick's going to go low. There's the Dazzle coming out. Graves roams up as well. Smokescreen now procced out. But they're fighting in the Defile. And Long Panda, I think he's going to be able to get out of the way. Extra Wave just annihilates Malphite in there as well. Valkyrieing right into position. And oh my goodness me, I have a funny feeling my voice is not going to last these 3 games.
And what you saw there was the upside of not getting that second Oracles and buying some more health items, because Mundo, with his regen that, you know, obviously scales off the amount of health he has, and his passive, which also gives him regen, to survive by the skin of his teeth against Rise, who probably would have got the kill with the Ignite that we talked about that he is lacking this game.
Yeah, I think so as well. And right now, CJ Entus looking very strong here in this first game. I mean, to me, that team fight was a lot of back and forth, a lot of really nice timings from both teams. But I think Corki just playing Janitor in that situation was perfect. And I mean, that Trinity Force is doing a great amount of burst damage at this point, and I guess that's kind of one of the advantages of having that item. I mean, it sounds kind of silly, but even the extra move speed that it gives you as well is obviously going to make it so he could get into the fight a little bit faster. Because he pretty much got that last kill by Valkyring just in time. So, you know, it definitely all adds up here, but still not even close to being over here for Najin. And Rise now.
It's interesting to see here, the Karthus here, 125 compared to Corki's 325, but the power of that amazing CS means that he is the highest gold in the game, and is very close to that locked and loaded mid-game build of Rod of Ages, Deathcap, Sork Shoes. So doing fantastically well for himself.
And Rise here, I think, looking for the bait, actually setting up pretty nicely. The Undertow coming out, I think actually going to reveal everybody else off. Malphite does not have his ultimate. No, he does have it back, ready to go. Actually teleported down at some point as well. May have missed that one, apologies. But we are going to see Dragon actually started here by CJ, and Corki not quite there yet. I don't know if this is the right idea. Najin probably need to recognize they want to go in, but they don't know where Corki is. So I don't think they want to go in too hastily. But lots of the standoff now beginning. Lots of nice poke actually here between Mundo, Olaf, and Corki as well. Even Sona actually is a decent amount of poke. And I think we are going to see a pretty hard initiate here from Najin if they want to commit. But, I mean, I don't know if they feel strong enough here for this Dragon fight. And Rise is actually rotating off mid. I think maybe he's just like, alright, maybe we'll just push this. Force your hand a little bit.
And while we talked at the start about the lack of initiation on the CJ side, the Karthus Wall and the Sona Ultimate, both fantastic counter initiations. So despite having Malphite, someone who is an amazing initiator, they really have to pick their battle here, Najin Shield, or this could go really bad.
Yeah, and a big shout out to Isotope as well, who I believe has given us a thread on the NA forums there. So big ups to him. Thanks for supporting us, of course. Absolutely love you. And Syntech with a nice comment. It's AR right now, or ARAR. It's all river, all river. All random, all rivers. So.
And there's the Malphite ultimate, catches 3 members there.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of people there. Unstoppable Force coming in. Great Sonar following up there as well. And now I think we're going to have a little bit of trouble. Karthus getting chased down. Alistar face taking Corki getting quite low there. There is a kill from Malphite there onto Mboob as Karthus falls down. Extra Wave picks up Alistar. Another Requiem coming out as well. Everyone's going to get pretty low. Soul picks up a kill there onto Insect. But the Requiem gets a kill there. Double kill actually for Karthus despite being dead. And now the cleanup is happening and CJ Entus come out on top there with Sonar of all champions grabbing the ace.
Yeah, 5 for true trade there, and Corki just lived too long there. The extra stats from the Trinity Force, the superior positioning, he survived that fight handedly, and they take down an even bigger gold lead, almost about 8,000 gold here at the 25-minute mark.
Yeah, and this bottom tower going down as well, I think is going to pad that lead even further now for CJ Entus, who again just looking so strong here. I mean, Karthus now finished up a Rabadon's death cap, has a blue elixir as well, so it's just going to be doing ridiculous amounts of damage. Long Panda actually tanking this up right now, decides, you know, they really want bottom tower, so they're just going to happily face take it here, and they will take it down. That's going to be 3 for 1 in the turret count, and we are getting dangerously close. 10,000 gold in the lead here for game 1 for CJ Entus, and I mean, the farm is just so good for their team, and I feel like in a situation where junglers have decided to gank bot all the time, just, you know, giving Karthus and Olaf Islands is maybe not what Najin want to be doing, but who knows? I mean, Alistar as well, I think, is also having a little bit of trouble here in terms of farm. I mean, he didn't get his second GP10, his Heart of Gold until very, very late. He had 2 Oracles, which is now lost as well. And I mean, if we look over here at Mundo, he's actually building up towards a Warmogs and has a Spirit Visage as well. So I think just in general, the mid-game here, just based on a lot of farm and a lot of smart play here from CJ, is giving them a pretty substantial lead at 25 minutes.
Yeah, and if you have a look at the gold values here, I mean, Alistar's, you know, just neck and neck with the support Tarek on their team, and you have to take into account 800 of the 5.1k is earned is gone.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're going to see Rise initiate on us. So great ultimate there from Malphite to reinitiate. Extra Wave goes down. I think immediately. No, not quite quick enough. Rise going to get the last hit, and Malphite going to flash out as well. Sonar now the target. There's a Dazzle. Great ult there, but Rise still coming in now. Mundo actually coming in to play cleanup. Now Mboob gets so low. Rise just chunking the crap out of people, and he will go down, but I think he's going to fall. Yes, he will there, as Karthus actually gets credit there with a lay west in zombie mode, and now everybody is trying to get out here. It's actually a 2 for 2 trade, and Graves, I think, has only just joined the fight. But that was a great pick there on the Corki. If there's one person you need to kill, it's him.
And it was that offensive Valkyrie there, just completely unaware that Malphite was well in ult range at the same time. And once the Malphite hit him, even though he died a little bit slower than we expected, he didn't instantly explode. His life was very much written off there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it is now. Oh, no, it's close. It's not quite there. It's about 9,000 in the lead here for CJ Entus. But just the items right now seem very, very nice here for CJ. Let's actually run them down. On the Najin side, we have Graves with Bloodthirst and Zeal, as well as these Berserker Greaves and double Dorans here. We've got double GP10 up for Tarek. He's picked up Philo and Heart of Gold, as well as Oracles now, and got an extra Ruby Crystal in there as well, likely building towards Shirelia's Reverie there with that Kindle Gem. We have on Alistar, who we kind of talked about as being a little bit behind in terms of items. He's desperately looking for an Aegis of the Legion, but a 30-minute Aegis is, I mean, it's good. You still want Aegis in your team, but it's just so much better at the 25-minute mark.
Yeah, he'd kind of be wishing he had Aegis and would have been most of the way towards Shirelia's at this point, but it hasn't been that kind of game for Alistar, unfortunately. No, and
look at Rise, though. He's looking pretty scary. We saw him just absolutely tank and chunk down everybody in that last skirmish. His Rod of Aegis blasting one, Negatron Cloak, Tear of the Goddess, and Chain Vest there as well. So I think Rise actually is setting up pretty nicely here. And I think
looks like he's going for one of those Abyssal Scepters there, just to give his team a bit more invisible power with that 20 magic resist reduction aura.
And we've talked about how good auras are recently as well, and I mean, again, to kind of shout out the Korean players,
you know, they're way ahead in that side. So at the moment we have just, and obviously Malphite working on the Frozen Heart here, but at the moment no auras on the Najin Shield side. They're definitely coming, we can see that, whereas an Aegis of the Legion and Shirelia is completed on the CJ Entus side. And
Randy is up as well. Speaking of aura
yeah,
items,
good point.
I mean, it's kind of a temporary aura.
The Olaf is looking very strong, 506, and the Shirelia's, Randon's Omen, Spirit Visage, and Hex Drinker. Even though we got 2 mid-tier items there, that's a lot of gold to get that assorted at the 28-minute mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Mundo finishing up his not Oracles, Warmog, sorry, up as well. That was a massive slip. I don't even know how that happened.
Oracles, Warmog, they're the same, right?
Clearly very similar. one just costs 2,600 gold more. But yeah, Olaf 5-0 and 6, and still roughly 30 CS ahead on his land opponent. I mean, he's just had an absolute ball. He's even getting back to top lane. He's like, no Malphite, no farm for you. We cannot have this, but Sunfire Cape is up for Malphite. Teleport actually coming in as well, I think, from Malphite. Where is he? I think he's coming around the side. We are going to potentially see a tower up there now. Mundo is the target. They're going to try and focus him down. Great ultimate there from Nish. They're playing Sona, but they are going to be able to take out this turret, and I think that was some very, very aware play there from Najin. I think exactly what they need in this game as well. You know, they didn't quite get any kills, but they saw the chance, they went for it, and they got it. At least they got a tower out of it.
Yeah, look, I mean, getting mid tower down gives you just so much more vision, and they were at that disadvantage because their mid tower had fallen earlier, so they cancel out that disadvantage they were at. They have a bit more map vision, and now the wards will start coming out from the support. The auras are both completed, the Aegis and the Abyssal both completed here, and now the map control war will begin.
Yeah, and I do want to ask you, does Sunfire Cape count as an aura item? Are we counting that? Because no, damn. I'm still going to build it.
It doesn't provide anything for the rest of your team apart from damage.
That's
so
true.
no.
I'm still going to build it, but you're right. I just wanted to check, and you're right, Ada's up on Alistar as well, which I think you already mentioned. Rise to me looking pretty scary. Graves getting there as well, actually has a pickaxe for whatever reason. He's decided not to go straight PD. I think he might be going Last Whisper at this point.
And but look, Graves does have an 80% attack story. Let's have a look at what he's maxed second. He's maxed at second, so he does have that available to him, and the cooldown does, you know, scale with itself. Last Whisper against a team that already has an Aegis completed, not the worst choice.
No, and this Alistar is so fast. This it's going to be split second initiation here. We can see Rise actually fighting back and forth there with Olaf. Both teams are aware that Dragon is coming back up as well. Lots and lots of furious pinging actually. They want to make sure to give Sona here to clear out the wards, but she's kind of squishy. And we can see Corky there coming in with the poke again. CJ don't really have the best hard initiation here. So if Najin can find the way, great wall there from Karthus, blocking off so much of the map. Oh, and then great play there, giving Sona more than enough space though. Again, who's very squishy, and her ultimate's very important to the counter initiation plan. But we don't want to bunch up. You can see them actually splitting pretty nicely here. And again, we are going to have just another standoff for Dragon. And last time, CJ kind of won this with a lot of their poke. Let's see if they can find somebody. Mundo takes plenty of damage. Actually going to go straight in with his ultimate. There's Malphite. Lands it up there, but Sona trying to line up for the ultimate. Everyone's kind of split off again here for Najin. And that's kind of not where they want to be there. Rise getting chased back over the trees there. Soul picks up a kill on Mboob actually. Is doing a ton of damage right now on Graves. And now Insect trying to chase him down as well. But Graves in a great choke point here. Long Panda coming in there as well, but they don't want to funnel through. Extra Wave now coming in. Will we see another aggressive Valkyrie? Everybody is ridiculously low at this point. Oh, and a great snipe there from Extra Wave onto the Alistar, and Long Panda maybe looking for an extra one as well. And yet again, despite the 2-for-2 trade, even there, we are going to see CJ Entus pick themselves up another Dragon.
And I was really focusing on Graves there because he was zoned out of doing a lot of damage the first fight, but he played amazingly well to survive there and do what he did. It only ended up in, you know, a drawn fight, 2-for-2, and you could argue a lost fight given they didn't get Dragon, but just to do that well as Graves there was just fantastic mechanical play from Soul.
Yeah, and I mean, that snipe there on Alistar was a little bit unfortunate. He just got dropped by Corky, by the way. And Corky is going to go back and do a bit more shopping. Speaking of shopping, I did want to ask you, there's a Trinity Force here. I mean, we talked about that already. We've got Vamp, yeah, that's fine. Now he's got a BF Sword, but he has a Last Whisper. He decided I needed one right now.
That's kind of a build that's fallen out of favor, but you have to realize the Najin Shield team have an Aegis, Tarek's armor aura, Rise has already picked up a lot of armor, and Malphite is an armor tank. So Last Whisper here, while not maybe a solar mid guide build Triforce Last Whisper Vamp Scepter every game, I think this game it does suit the situation quite a lot. Yeah, and I mean Malphite is doing what he loves to do. In fact, apart from Merc Treads, he doesn't have a single shred of magic resist, and he's just going, you know, all anti-carry in this point. And just to confirm, he builds a Chain Vest, so 289 armor without Brutal Strikes on. And it's not even maxed, by the way, as well, so just going to have a ton of armor. And you know that Malphite's looking for that Corky, just instantly looking for him in every single team fight. He has been getting in most fights. Like, I watched him sit on Corky the last fight, but Corky Valkyried away from him just to get more damage done in the fights because I guess he wasn't afraid of the damage threats focusing him afterwards.
Well,
it was interesting there.
Yeah, he's got a decent amount of magic damage as well with his spells, so he can kind of chunk through Malphite.
And true damage, of course.
Yeah, of course, with the true damage, and Gatling gun as well. With the armor shred, everyone getting pretty low there. Long Planet goes very deep. Great ult there from Sona. And now Alistar and Malphite trying to hunt down Corki, but here we can see everybody very, very low. Tarek actually getting in there. Mundo gets crushed actually, but Embib going straight in now, doing a ton of AoE damage, but we still have Rise and Graves alive right now, and Malphite as well trying to look for some people. Embib goes down there as well. Rise chasing back and forth. They really want to make sure they don't walk into Carthage. Soul actually walks straight through him. He's like, yeah, I don't care anymore. You're not going to kill me.
This would have been a terrible fight, but for the fact that after the Carthage nerfs, he was about 10 seconds away from having his ult up there, and that just contributed to the win the fight there.
Calculated.
I
mean, there's a very real possibility these guys know Carthage's ult timer very, very well. And
that's the wonderful thing that the nerf does. I mean, people looked at it and said that's not much, but if you know approximately how long the timer is, you have that window for some counterplay. You have that window for a fight where, sure, you have to deal with Carthage's passive, but you don't have to deal with the ultimate finisher, the Carthage's ultimate.
Yeah, and I think that last fight there was a great show here of both Soul and Graves and Rise as well. I mean, they were left alive at the end of the fight. Malphite as well. Pretty much as soon as Carthage died, he's like, yeah, I'm unstoppable right now. And just plowed through everybody, just got straight onto Corki, kind of zoned him out of the fight for the most part as well. And then there was just a great bit of cleanup there from the carries here from Najin. So, you know, despite the gold lead that CJ had, you know, almost 10,000 gold at, you know, at about 30 minutes or so, it seems like they've actually picked it back up right now, and there's, what, 6,500 or so in the difference. And that's a pretty massive, change, given that the gap was very, very large at one point soon. I think we might...
Speaking of massive changes, at least from what I'm used to, look at this, at 35 minutes here, Rise has picked up a Guardian Angel to complement his Rod of Ages and Abyssal Scepter, so we're going to be seeing a lot of Rise in the next team fight. He's going to last quite a while.
Yep, and his Fury of the Goddess is fully stacked as well, even has a blue pot ready to go, so he is...
150 resists on both magic resist and armor, at least. So he's a tanky man, and both escape spells will be up next fight.
Yeah, and can you see his overload just doing? I'm trying to calculate in my head. I think it's close to 500 damage. It's pretty massive right now in terms of the damage output. So Rise is a very scary man, and that's again if Najin get the hard initiate here, as they just kind of pick off a tower up in top lane. Very aware play from them as well. We could see problems, and I think CJ are realizing we kind of had this map control, but we couldn't really force a lot of team fights. Shirelli is coming out now as well. They really want Insect Great Wall again by Carthus, but they're still going in. There's another Shirelli is getting popped there by Nish playing Sona, and they are just... they really want somebody. I don't think they want Mundo. I don't know if
they really want to fight, but unfortunately a Malphite Q to Mundo really isn't going to start too much.
No, and you obviously don't want to waste your ultimate there. I think if you're Malphite on Mundo, you need to find a key target. I think one of the biggest things is that if Najin can find Sona and Corki together, that's a very big deal. So we see spells going back. Well, I think CJ actually want to initiate. There's a Shirelius coming in now, and Corki needs to be a little bit careful. Mundo poking back and forth, taking quite a bit of damage though, and Rise getting chunked down as well there by Olaf. Very, very precarious teamfight. Dazzle coming out, just trading back and forth right now. Long Panda getting very low. I think they might go in there. Sona with a great ult. Malphite goes in onto Corki as well. Embib right in the middle trying to take down the carries, but he gets taken down as well. Requiem now coming out for him, so it will try and do more damage. Soul goes down immediately. A double kill there for Embib, in fact. And Rise, I don't think he's got enough in this one. Extra wave in a lot of trouble. Actually gets taken out there, and I think Insect actually could die here. The Guardian Angel will revive him, but he will flash over the ridge as well to stay safe.
And that Carthus ultimate did wonderful, magnificently huge damage there, and they still prevailed in this team fight. They still were just strong enough. The Rise GA was probably the only difference between the two teams.
Yeah, I mean, and it worked. It definitely worked out exactly the way they want it. They're going to get this blue buff here to steal as well. And, I mean, I think that the Carthus tells the difference between why Najin looked like, you know, they looked good in this fight, but they looked a lot better in the last one, and that Carthus just did stupid amounts of damage. In fact, if I click on him, he's got 547 AP without a blue pot on, and he has one in his inventory as well. So
at this point, with everything so tenuous, the only thing I could say with any level of confidence as a caster here is that if they manage to force a fight where Carthus' ultimate is down, they have a very good chance of winning Najin Shield. When it's up, man, it comes down right down to the wire.
Yeah, and it's, you know, just over 2 minutes here on the cooldown, about 140 seconds or there, just about. It's like 137.6, I think I saw, if you guys want to get real specific about it. But yeah, there's a lot going on here in this one. And we just got to get, I don't know, like 5,000 gold at 40 minutes is not a big difference.
No, for sure, no.
So
the one thing that I have noticed is interesting is they really want to get this Graves down here. So obviously Olaf has the ability with Ragnarok to run straight at him and not worry about CC. But with the reality of the comp here, Olaf is always going to do at least a certain amount of damage to Graves, given that he can just run at him. And with the Karthus ultimate finishing off, it's very hard for Graves to outplay the CJ Entus team here. It's very hard for him to play so skillfully that he doesn't take enough damage to die to the Karthus ult.
Yeah, and I mean, he does have a Negatron clock. I believe he'll be building it into a Quicksilver Sash as well. In fact, would you even consider Banshee's Veil in a spot like this? I mean, QSS is obviously the standard here on a lot of AD carries, just to you know, pick the CC you get out of to maximize your positioning.
I think Olaf will always hit him with a spell in a team fight.
Yeah, I think I agree as well. I mean, sadly you can't QSS the Karthus ult.
Like, theoretically, I mean, that if it wasn't Olaf, it was someone else, you could say there's very minimal CC on the CJ Entus side. Yes, it could be a good pickup, but Corki has rockets to explode it from range, and Olaf will run at him and blow it up. So he will take Karthus' ultimate whether he has a Banshee's Veil or not.
Yeah, and Soul right now, he needs to go back to
they
Baron.
Noticed that Graves is down bottom, and here comes the Baron pressure.
Yeah, so Baron is up now, getting taken up pretty quickly here by CJ. They've got a fairly good Baron team. Najin realize they go straight in Corki and Karthus in one. Malphite ult, very nice work there, but Longplander doing a good bit of tanking there. Mundo picks up Baron, so Baron is now up on CJ, and I think everyone's going to running back and forth. Tarek there throws out a Dazzle. Soul now into the fight, but Najin very, very low, and I think they are going to have to get out and just hope nobody else dies. Malphite, who went very deep there, straight into the Baron pit on top of the carries, gets picked off fairly quickly now. And I think maybe a bit of a mistake there by Graves being bottom lane, and a great...
I would think it must have been a miscommunication, because, I mean, the team should be able to tell him, regardless of what his inclination is to farm as an AD carry, that the Baron pressure was very strong there.
Yeah, I mean, they took it pretty swiftly there as well. I mean, between Karthus and Mundo, and Corki as well, obviously, as an AD, just does plenty of damage. They did Baron very, very quickly there, and a great job as well by Mundo smiting that Baron, making sure to secure it mid-team fight. And I mean, the team fight was already going pretty well for them. It obviously went even better once that Baron got taken down now. And I think Najin, I guess with the first real misstep of this game, they've done a great job of playing well as a team and team fighting aggressively, picking their spots, and really catching back up after kind of an early deficit here. But this Baron is going to put a ton of pressure onto them, and we're going late. It's 40 minutes into this game. The next Baron will spawn at what, about 47 minutes, or thereabouts, 46, 47 minutes.
It's that one positional thing, that one being bot lane when Baron pressure was strong, that's finally split this game from being completely dead even to being slightly in CJ Entus' advantage here. But once the Baron drops, who's to say who'll win the next fight?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, if there's a kind of an awkward engage as well by CJ, I mean, Baron doesn't guarantee you win the fight. It merely makes you better at fighting. So you can't just, you know, A move in or whatever. Obviously, you can A move in this game actually. But you know, you can't just kind of blindly kind of close your eyes and kind of cross your fingers and just kind of hope that it all works out. Because you definitely still have to team fight when you have Baron, but it obviously it's just so much pressure for a team. It's so hard as a team without Baron to fight a team with Baron, and every death at 40 plus minutes just matters so much. And I think we actually might see this in action here. I think Insect could be in a lot of trouble. There is a 3-man hit squad. Shirelli is popping off as well. Nope, denied there as the Pulverize. Headbutt comes up on no Pulverize. Exhaust coming down as well. Long Panda actually coming in. And I think they want to turn this around, going straight in there for Soul. Great, a Pulverize there by Alstar to kind of cover the retreat. But I think Mundo pretty confident there being that far forward, and they had a ward there as well. They were able to see that they were coming, and I think a great response there from Olaf to come down, and they were pretty confident in that 2v3. So
the cavalry was definitely coming there, and Najin Shield had to pull out when they did, or they would have paid for it with their lives.
Yeah, but would have been an absolutely great... It was a great spot to go. I don't blame them for trying in there, and I actually love the way they're still aggressively pushing out these lanes as a team. They're really just trying to make sure that the least pressure possible happens while CJ have this Baron, and I actually don't think a single tower shot has been fired since CJ have had Baron, like on the Najin towers. So they've done a really good job of defending here.
So looking at Rise here, his GA has come back up, but instantly he finished up the Archangel Staff, and which is providing him with 107 bonus AP power just from the passive and the 45 from the item. So he is outputting some real damage.
Yes, he is, and he's got a Hextech Revolver in there as well. In fact, do you like the choice at all? The Spell Vampire Rise, just to, you know, I guess be tankier in a sense.
I think they have a great team with Spell Vamp. I mean, all the people on their teams do spells. I mean, Graves is probably the biggest. Well, Graves next to Corki, I guess, ironically, is one of the biggest AD spellcasters in the game. So a Will of the Ancients, when he eventually picks it up, will be a very strong aura item for the Najin Shield team.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think just on Rise it's fairly good as well. I mean, we can see that, you know, ability power is just a little bit better on Rise. They're prioritizing it a little bit more. But obviously, no real other major mana items. Which one am I missing? In fact, the only one I'm missing is the Grail, and I don't think Rise builds that. So I'll be quiet now. But Rise looking very, very scary right now.
Rise is locked and loaded this game. There is no question he will be an important factor in this fight.
Here's the dive coming in now as well. The wall of pain gets thrown down, and outside coming in as well. The teleport actually now from Malphite, who was up top. And that's it. They're done. Oh wait, no, maybe not. Shirelius! There's the unstoppable force, so Extra Wave gets chunked to all hell. Nish with the ultimate in there as well, doing a great job there. And Soul is actually fighting Longpain, a great headbutt there. But I think Carthus, he's going to do the damage here. And this ultimate is going to hurt so many people. In fact, he might not even need to use it. No, he actually didn't there as Mundo flashes forward. We'll get the GA. It will pop now as well, but I don't think Rise is long for this world. And I think CJ Entus may have found the window into this first game. That is probably going to be it. There's the ace now. And with 45 seconds left on the first person to respawn here, I think CJ going to be able to clear out this Nexus in pretty short order.
And the first real advantage is shown to fruition here. It's just Corky just had so much room to maneuver there with the Triforce speed and the Quicksilver Sash. He was never in risk of dying, whereas Graves was chased down by Olaf and Carthus' damage and just fell. And that was just all she wrote.
Yeah, and I think Olaf and Carthus, they're really showing their strength as late game champions. I mean, they just powered through every single person on Najin. And I mean, this is quite a long game. 45 minutes is a little bit on the longer side. We're going to see Tarek in 6 seconds respawn, but no, they surrender before that. Najin realizes it's all over, and that's it. Good game, well played. And CJ Entus will pick up the first game here in the MPL qualifier. So sorry, CPL
anywhere, guys. It is a best of 3, and so we'll have to see how the bans and picks develop from what was a very close game.
Absolutely. So we will be taking a short break as well. I mean, I actually just need to quickly grab some water and go to the bathroom, but we should be underway fairly shortly here. I'm sure these teams are pretty eager to play. Let me just chuck on a little quick bit of music for you all, and I will be back in probably less than a few minutes. But yeah, definitely don't get anywhere, guys. We've got at least one more game, and hopefully all 3 as well, just for a special treat for tonight. My name is Pastrytime. I've been joined by PapaSmithy as well. Do not go anywhere. We'll continue with our coverage of CPL Korean Qualifier here between Najin Shield and CJ Entus. Stay tuned.